Hey guys, Dr. Z back here. Just wanted to finish off the organizational videos here that we've had going. This will be the last one. Again, these spreadsheets will be on university1310.org. For a small donation at the university, you can grab any of these spreadsheets, including project plans and also any type of resources that we have out there is at your disposal. There's a lot of free stuff as well if you check it out. So, all right, so this would be the one that everybody's probably waiting for. This is the spreadsheet to kind of help you out on selecting a property. And this will be a fun spreadsheet to fill out. This will definitely get your family members dreaming and also getting them in the right frame of mind to move to an off-grid retreat, or maybe in the rural areas that's on-grid, depending on what your family needs are. This spreadsheet is something that I put together and has helped me immensely. I have an accounting page here. Now this is not the budget, by the way. This is just basically numbers I put down. These numbers are not exact. I have 3 examples up here, which we'll get into in a minute. One from Montana, Texas, and Wyoming. Down at the bottom here, you can see the different tabs here: demographics, topography, whether there's nuclear power plants, the kind of surnames that you'll have in your state, natural disasters, lightning strikes, radon, earthquakes, volcanoes, tornadoes, tsunamis, pestilence, wars, shortwave radio, and right on down the line. I can, give you a great basis of how you want to select your property, whether it has fertile soil, whether you're in high crime areas, whether folks there are married, the median age of people, things like that. So, but this is a fun exercise because once you have this spreadsheet completed, you and your family members are most likely going to be getting in your car, your BOV, bug out vehicle, and driving to these places, and understanding that this would be a family affair, and a lot of needs, wants, and desires from all your family members will be recorded, and it'll be a fun experience, and you'll get to know things about other family members that you may not have known in the past. So this is an excellent way to do that. So let's get started then. Pretty much I set up 3 columns here. I'll give the examples. So we got Montana, Texas, and Wyoming. Through a log package out there. If you want to hewn your own logs from trees, timber, and have your own sawmill on site, I've seen that happen. I didn't do that. I purchased a log package because I had a certified architect thrown in for free that designed everything from the foundation up, and all of the structural code values and things like that were in the prints themselves. So the only thing that was not in the prints, of course, was electrical, plumbing, septic, gas, and things like that. Interior walls, as long as they're not load bearing, can be moved around your plans. So essentially I've got 3 examples here. If you notice, the Montana one is kind of a pricey one because I had to throw in a snowmobile here. Let's say it's high up on the mountain. If you look here, from June to November, you have access with a vehicle. After that, you're going to need a snowmobile to get up. Let's say it's 10 feet of snow, that you're not going to be driving through that or even plowing that probably. The other 2 properties are year-round access, so January to December. I've got features down here, whether it's on a high ground, drivable road, because they have controlled access. Can you have a root cellar, in your house and property? Garden plants, orchard. Can you put a tornado shelter in your house? But some of these things here in this section, I've already got tabs down below to talk to that. Is it okay for solar, septic, propane? Low crime, low population density, the demographics, are they, people that are working, or are they a bunch of homeless camps encamped around you. Can you have fuel storage on the property? Airplane landing strip, which my property has. You know, do you have mineral rights to the land? Windmills can you put up? Local church. Do they have, I know I put like-minded people, but I mean conservative people. I mean, if you don't want, folks from the far left spectrum of politics, I done that. You're going to be harassed, essentially, indefinitely. Letters in the mail, liens on your house, fines, fees, levies, whatever. So much policies, especially with HOAs and things like that. And you want to make sure you're with like-minded people, and the neighborhood is good. So this is kind of a matrix I filled out. You can go ahead and add your own to this as well. I got a picture off to the right here. It kind of entices me. You should try to find something on the internet that looks presentable and kind of builds your dream. I didn't build this log home here, but it did entice me to keep focused and keep my dream alive. So let's go down. Again, this is the accounting tab. It's not a budget, but it just kind of bakes out some numbers so that you got something to talk about with family members. The demographics, the best website I found was city-data.com. You can go in there, and any city in the country, I don't care if it's Boise, Idaho, New York City, Tampa, Florida. It talks about public schools, where they rank, the neighborhoods, the crime, the homeless element, the median age of people, the median earnings of people, restaurants, assessments, businesses and things like that are all listed there. And it's very helpful to decide what you want to do. It even breaks it down by, race, what race is there. Not that means anything. It doesn't. We're all part of the human race, but it's got all of the different metrics that are tracked, typically through the federal government, is on this website. So the next one is topography here. I went ahead and got up Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho here. This will kind of tell you pretty much the elevation of your property. And of course, if you want, land and you've got water on it, or, some questions you can ask the real estate agent. Do you have water rights to the water? Do you have mineral rights to the land? Things like that. So this was kind of helpful. It also tells you if you're close to mountains, or if you've got some, if you're in a floodplain, if there's some low level land that's right off the base of some steep hills or mountains, you might be in a floodplain, so that might be something to take a look at. The nuclear tab, this is the nuclear power plants in the United States. I don't know if these are still active. I know the one in California there, down in San Clemente, was just decommissioned, but they do have a ton of nuclear waste still there that they don't know what to do with at this point. So these are not nuclear missile silos that the United States military owns. I don't think they have a map like that. However, we do know that in North Dakota, a few years back, they had that one nuclear missile that went off the road there that they were driving. So there's some here. Also, New Mexico and Arizona, they recently made museums out of nuclear missile silos. So we know that they were there at one time. I'm sure in Montana, a lot of areas probably have nuclear missile silos, and they would also be targeted by nuclear strikes from foreign countries. So that might be something to be aware of if you happen to know a military base that has missiles on them. So the next one is surnames. This was kind of interesting here. It gives you the top 3 names for each of the state. And if you look down at the southern states, you got a bunch of Mexican names down here are the top 3 names. And this might be, targeted for illegal aliens and people crossing the border illegally. As we know, the big political hype in the recent presidential election. So that might be something you might want to pay attention to. These northern states have like English, British names pretty much dominant. You got some Scottish over here, and Italian on the East Coast, and speckled throughout here. Like Nebraska has Johnson and Smith and Miller. So those are the most prominent surnames in Nebraska. But that's just something to note as you make your selection. I'm not saying that all Mexican names mean that illegal alien. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if the state has a surname, of a Spanish descent and it's near the border, you can be pretty sure that there's some type of cultural integration that has to happen. Learning English or finding jobs, going to school. All of those things factor in, and I'm talking about the legal aliens at this point, people that come from foreign countries who have to learn English. I know that's probably tough for them, but that's where I'm going with that. So, whereas people with the British names would pretty much have English down, maybe speaking the Queen's English, and they may have been here many, many generations as well. So, the next one is natural disasters, tornado risk, hurricane risks, earthquake. All of these are found off of factmonster.com. I have broken it down by lightning strikes here. Some great research here. 4 different websites here I've got listed for you. Radon in the ground. What state is highest? It looks like the northern states have high radon, and then followed by medium levels of radon, and then low level of radon in the lower, southern states here. So. Earthquakes, of course, California is pretty much all red along the coast. They got a couple of red dots here. This looks like Arkansas, Mississippi here. And then in South Carolina has a red dot as well, but California would be earthquake rich at that point. Volcanoes, oddly enough, the volcano for the Yellowstone is not even listed as an active volcano, but they do have many active volcanoes here listed throughout the world. If you wanted to, move to there, have a retreat, and maybe it's not the United States. I chose the United States, and I have another video on why I did that. But I do have 7 countries that I would have went to, and I discuss each one in detail. But the United States. One is the Constitution of the United States, and the human freedoms that you have, including the right to bear arms, is paramount for making an off-grid retreat. You definitely need, if you've got a place to go for refuge if something happens in the world, a pestilence or a nuclear strike or something. You got to be able to defend your property, and otherwise you're just preparing for nothing, because as soon as the future event happens and you have no way to defend anybody in your family or your property or even your animals, it's just a moot point to even start prepping. So tornadoes, so I didn't fill that out. So I won't go through all of these, but for amateur radio licensed folks like myself, I've got one for shortwave radio here, the propagation across the world. All of these things will factor into your decision making on how you're going to select a retreat property. And again, I got this spreadsheet out there on the website. You can actually find it at university1310.org. you know, you can change this up any way you want to if you download this, or if you want to add some things, take some things away, that's fine too. So anyways, we'll see you in the next video, and we're going to be into excavation. Please remember to like this video and also to subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video.